Welcome to the deep dive. You've brought us a stack of material, your articles, notes, research, and our mission, well, it's clear. Plunge in, pull out those key insights, find the surprising bits, and, give you the shortcut to being really well informed, tailored just for you.
Exactly. We're here to guide you through it, help you see the connections, understand the context, and figure out what really matters in the source material you've shared with us.
Absolutely. And today we're diving into something quite interesting. Excerpts from the book 365 Messages from Juan King. Now, this isn't your typical book. It's more like a collection of short, powerful messages, little bursts of wisdom.
Right. Designed to offer guidance on, well, navigating life, building self-worth, finding happiness, success, those big themes.
It's almost like looking through maybe a series of lenses, each focusing on a distinct fundamental truth about personal growth and living well, all in these, bite-sized pieces. Very digestible. Yeah. So our goal for this deep dive is to explore these messages, sort of synthesize their core wisdom, and pull out the most actionable advice they offer. Think of it as finding the foundational ideas here. Okay, let's unpack this.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Well, a lot of these messages seem to circle around building something strong inside yourself. Take message 1, right near the start. It says quite powerfully, "Don't need to be a girl everyone loves, but must be a girl who loves herself."
That really sets a tone immediately, doesn't it? It completely shifts the focus away from, external validation.
Yeah, it's not about chasing approval.
No. It's about building that core relationship with yourself first. That's the priority.
And message 9 really builds on that. It suggests trusting yourself is, well, essential. It's the key to finding happiness.
And it frames happiness not as something you find out there,
Right.
but something that comes from within, through that self-trust. It even suggests self-love acts like a magnet, kind of attracting love from others.
Which is fascinating. And then message 17 gives us this incredibly vivid image. It says, okay, it's great if others love you, but if they don't, you must love yourself doubly.
Ah, and the metaphor.
Yes. Few people send charcoal in the snow. Most add flowers to brocade. Helping you when you're down is rare.
Charcoal and snow, yeah.
But celebrating your success, adding flowers to the fancy fabric, that's common.
So the takeaway isn't wait for help.
No, exactly. It's focus on becoming the brocade yourself. Build that internal strength and value.
Become the brocade. I like that. And this ties directly into message 26, which argues that trying to fit into, unsuitable crowds, chasing that external acceptance, it's just not important.
So what is important then?
Increasing your own value. That's presented as the most vital thing you can do.
Which message 29 connects beautifully to both, like personal happiness and your ability to help others. It basically says you need enough ability to decide your own life to be happy.
Right. Autonomy leads to happiness.
And only when you are genuinely happy can you really bring happiness to others. It's a strong argument for prioritizing your own well-being first.
Not just selfishly, but as a kind of prerequisite for meaningful connection. It's clear, this theme. Cultivate that inner strength, that self-acceptance. It's the bedrock.
Without it, looking for happiness or validation outside yourself is just unstable.
Exactly. It reminds me of message 12, too, which flat out says we improve ourselves not for others, but for ourselves. So we can choose our life, feel like we deserve better.
Okay, so shifting gears just a little.
Yeah.
Several messages really push us towards action and living in the now. Message 2 is pretty stark.
Oh, yeah, that one's direct.
It says, look, we never know if tomorrow comes or if an accident comes first. So if you can, do what you want, go where you want, have what you want, don't hesitate.
It's a real call to, acknowledge life's fragility and act on your aspirations, assuming you have the means, not just putting things off forever.
And then message 6 kind of grounds this in the present moment. It calls living for today wise.
Right. And dwelling on the past you can't change. That just hurts you and others.
And worrying about a future you don't know yet.
Pointless. Needless worry. The wisdom, it says, is in not punishing yourself with the past or scaring yourself with the future, but just living well now.
These two messages together, they create an interesting tension, don't they? One says act because life is uncertain.
And the other says be present despite the uncertainty. It's about channeling your energy effectively, I think, into the now, where you actually have some control, informed by what you hope for.
Okay, another big thread seems to be the journey itself. Effort, persistence. Message 3 presents life as a long journey, not a sprint. Full of unexpected things, obstacles.
It offers a comforting view, actually, that those who lead early might not finish first, and those who lag behind, They might not stay there forever.
It really emphasizes endurance, doesn't it? And your own drive, rather than just where you started or how fast you are initially. It puts the power squarely on you. The ultimate decider is you.
That's a powerful statement.
And message 14 gives us that fundamental truth about action. Trying doesn't guarantee success, no, but not trying. That guarantees you have zero chance. Simple, but a strong counter to just doing nothing.
It's a potent reminder, right?
Ooh.
Opportunity requires you actually engage. And message 31 really doubles down on this, defining true success not by intelligence or skill or even luck.
But by what?
Perseverance and effort. Plain and simple.
But then message 19 brings in patience. It says, look, at 20, you don't know your life at 30, but 30 will arrive. Some things just can't be rushed.
So the advice there is more about letting things happen naturally, listening to your heart, choosing your life path, and letting time sort of answer the rest.
That adds a really crucial layer of nuance, I think. Effort's essential, sure, but some things just need time to unfold. It's not just relentless pushing.
No, it's also about wise timing, listening to yourself. Message 20 even asks, why do we often wait until things get bad to work hard? Why not build that discipline now when things are good?
That's a challenging question.
It is. And message 32 expands on the value of all this effort beyond just reaching a goal. It suggests the biggest difference between, say, the rich and not rich isn't just the money,
Okay.
but the positive energy, the state you achieve through striving, and the wider world you get to see and experience because you worked hard for it.
So the real wealth is internal, experiential.
That's the idea. It's the transformation that happens during the process.
Yeah.
Daring to strive, maybe even suffer a bit, for something meaningful. Messages 27 and 28 echo this too: talent is cultivated, luck is often just perseverance in disguise, and where you come from doesn't define you.
Right, your choices and effort do. Message 18 says everyone starts from zero, essentially. Apart from birth, everything else is a result of continuous choices.
Exactly. It's all built.
Okay, here's where I think it gets really interesting. Several messages seem to suggest focusing less on chasing things externally and more on cultivating your inner world. Message 5 has this fantastic analogy.
Ah, the horse in the grass.
Yes, don't chase a horse. Use that time to plant grass. When spring comes, a whole herd of fat horses will arrive.
And it extends that right. Don't just try to desperately befriend someone specific. Use that time to enhance your own ability. When the time is right, friends will naturally come.
It's all about raising your own ability rather than relying on or chasing others.
The image is so clear. Planting phoenix trees attracts phoenixes. Blooming flowers attract butterflies and bees.
The principle feels quite profound. Become the kind of person, the kind of environment that naturally attracts what you desire instead of just wearing yourself out pursuing it.
And message 30 reinforces this so directly. It says, you attract the social circle you are. If a circle doesn't accept you, well, maybe you don't belong there. And if a, quote, low-level circle doesn't want you, you should actually be glad.
So strive for relationships that reflect the level you aspire to or have reached inside.
Exactly. It connects your inner work directly to the quality of your external world, your relationships, your environment.
Okay, moving to perspective and facing challenges. Message 8 offers this powerful idea. When you broaden your perspective, the world just feels vast.
Ignoring the chatter, looking further out, reveals a clear, broad path.
And not depending on others shows immense strength. When your world is big enough, it says life is truly in your hands.
This ties right back into that self-reliance theme we saw earlier. An expanded perspective, free from the noise and dependency, gives you clarity and strength to direct your own life.
But message 10 gives us permission to pause sometimes. Let your heart rest.
Feel life in the wind. Notice a unique wildflower.
Yeah, encounter someone special, discover interesting intuitions. These quiet moments, it suggests, are actually the best experiences.
It's a really necessary counterpoint to all of the striving, isn't it? True perspective also comes from stillness, observation, appreciating those simple, maybe profound moments that ground you, fuel your intuition. It's the awareness you cultivate alongside the effort.
And message 23 paints a picture of what happens when you cultivate all this, the inner strength, the perspective, when you become excellent and intelligent enough.
You gain a wise heart and clear eyes. You see through reality, the world's harshness. You can discern right from wrong.
Yeah, and this is key.
Yes, yet you still live confidently and passionately. That's the kind of person, it suggests, who earns admiration.
So it's wisdom not as cynicism, but as clear-eyed engagement, maintaining your fire despite seeing the challenges.
Precisely. Navigating complexity with resilience and passion. Message 24 adds to this, distinguishing between someone who stays down after failure, calls them a loser, and someone who gets up a warrior.
But then there's a third type.
Right. The truly wise and strong person who maybe understands enough to navigate effectively, perhaps avoiding certain major pitfalls altogether.
And for handling negativity from others, message 13 has very direct advice.
Just don't pay attention to continuous attacks. Live your own life well. Focus on giving your loved ones more reason to cherish you.
And for those who mean you ill,
ignore them. You don't live for people who hate you. It's a masterclass in setting boundaries, really.
yeah, don't waste your energy there.
Exactly. Your focus is precious. Directing it towards negativity is just a waste. Your life, your positive relationships, they're the best defense. Messages 16 and 21 even reframe confusion.
How so?
Well, 16 suggests confusion might mean you still have passion, a desire to pursue something, but 21 offers another view. Confusion might be wanting things beyond your current reach while trying to avoid the hard work.
So limited strength, boundless desire.
Kind of. Understanding the root of your confusion is key. Maybe embracing hardship and starting small helps find your way.
Okay, let's look at decision-making and standards. These seem closely linked in the messages. Message 7 gives 3 really practical criteria for making a choice.
Right. 1, it's what you like. 2, it's your strength. 3, it has a future.
That framework really aligns passion, capability, and potential, doesn't it?
It does. Meeting these criteria gives you motivation because you like it, makes success more likely because it's your strength, and gives you fuel to persist because you see a future in it. Success itself is a great motivator too, of course.
Then message 22 dives into compromise. It argues that, okay, many people think lowering standards helps them get what they want.
But actually,
It's the standards you hold that determine whether you lose something important. Compromise often comes from fear, right? Fear of loss, or just wanting to end something quickly.
which suggests that compromising your core standards just for expediency, that could be really self-defeating in the long run. Your standards aren't just preferences, they act like protective filters for your values, your well-being.
And message 36 drives this point home, specifically about relationships. It says someone who always demands you compromise and yield. Well, they can't give you the life you actually want.
It applies that principle directly. Suggesting a key standard to hold is maintaining your fundamental values and needs within a relationship. If a relationship constantly requires you to abandon your standards,
It's fundamentally incompatible with building the life you want, based on those standards.
exactly.
Okay, finally, there are a couple of messages offering insight into love and relationships. Message 33 gives a really simple but profound definition.
What's that?
The highest level of love isn't grand gestures or sacrifice. It's just one word: understanding.
Wow. That elevates empathy, truly grasping the other person's perspective and needs, way above just dramatic shows of affection.
And message 35 really unpacks this. It says someone who understands their partner loves them how the partner needs to be loved.
Okay, versus
Versus someone who doesn't understand, who loves how they themselves want to love. And the tragic part, if someone doesn't understand you, no matter how much you give or try to please them,
they still won't grasp what you truly want. And the more you love in that way, the more you might inadvertently hurt each other.
oof. That highlights the critical difference between just well-intentioned affection and love that's actually grounded in understanding.
Yeah. Love without understanding, however much of it there is, can lead to pain because it just fails to meet the other person where they are. It doesn't acknowledge their actual needs.
So we've explored how these messages weave together themes of inner strength, active presence, persistent effort, cultivating yourself, clear perspective, holding standards, and that deep understanding in relationships.
They consistently seem to point inward first, don't they? Build yourself up, clarify your own world, define your standards, understand your own desires and strengths first.
And from that strong inner foundation.
Then you can navigate the external world more effectively. Strive well, attract what serves you, connect with others authentically through understanding.
They aren't just abstract bits of wisdom, are they? They feel more like interconnected calls to action for building a resilient, fulfilling life, really from the inside out. Our deep dive into 365 messages from Vãn Tình has really, I think, underscored the power of that inner work. Cultivating yourself, choosing your perspective, building your strength. It's not just part of the journey.
No, It's presented almost as the fundamental requirement for happiness, for success, for meaningful connections.
It's philosophy suggesting you first have to be the person capable of receiving or creating the life you want rather than just, chasing it externally.
Right. Become the brocade first.
Exactly. So if message 3 tells us the ultimate decider in life's long journey is you, and message 22 insists that the standards you hold determine whether you lose something valuable. Here's a final thought for you. What is one standard rooted in your own value that you need to consciously choose to hold firm on starting today?